Insanity. It's a common rules mechanic in some RPGs, made most famous by Call of Cthulhu, with its ever-decreasing insanity score. But you find it in other games as well. This idea that if your character is exposed to some giant shock or threat to their very worldview, that they will have to make a check, or else they will pick up a derangement, an insanity, a phobia, however they name them. There is this mechanic for adding these quirks and insanities to a character. And as much as I fondly remember Call of Cthulhu's sanity score system and the derangement mechanic out of Vampire, these days I think they're largely unnecessary. Adventurers, investigators, kindred packs, whatever you have, are insane. They are already going to be deranged. They're going to be doing things which normal people are not going to consider normal behaviour. They're going to act in insane ways. Consider your archetypical D&D adventurer. Upon hearing that scattered across the countryside there are these old tombs and warrens and underground complexes full of terrifying monsters and some treasure, apparently, they think it's a good idea to go down there and have a look. Never mind that there are things that will slurp your face off, rip you apart, tear at your flesh, possibly eat you, or incubate its young in you. No, it's perfectly fine to go and look at those things and poke it with a stick and see what happens. That's not sane behaviour. If you knew there were terrible terrors lurking down some old forgotten mine shaft, you'd brick it up. You'd pile rocks all over it and make sure that whatever was down there never came out. Or you would roll in naphtha or something and set a light and then brick it up. You would not go in and have a look. You would not try and recover it and, for what? Handfuls of gold coins? That's mad. That's completely insane. And then there are the other weirdnesses you find in fantasy games. Shapeshifters, doppelgangers. It's quite likely that most of your population is blissfully unaware of such things. But adventurers become aware of them. And then they start acting very odd indeed. The idea that anyone is actually a shapeshifter, something like a doppelganger or a succubus, and they are going to seduce you and draw you away and kill you, means characters actually act very weirdly, very strangely to just people coming onto them. Normal people, in ways that normal people do not act. They act oddly, strangely. One could even say in an insane way. And then there are those fun creatures called mimics. After possibly most likely your first, but possibly your second encounter with a mimic, you will suddenly come to the realization that these terrors can look like anything. They could be that chair over there, that table, that box, that door. Was that door there before? If you knew that there were mimics in your universe, that anything could suddenly grow tentacles and teeth and eat you, how would you react to objects or unfamiliar things? Would you poke everything with a stick first, just to see if it's soft and squishy and not wooden or metallic? Would you constantly send someone else to go and open that door? Would you rack your brain, try and remember the door was there yesterday? This is all insane behaviour, not normal behaviour. But it is a perfectly rational response to knowing that you're in a universe with mimics. But to the outside observer who does not know that chest of drawers over there could sprout tentacles and eat you, you're gonna look like you're acting pretty weird. And basically the entire range of horrible creatures you find in any monster manual will eventually elect a set of behaviours in the PC, which means they are insane, they are acting weird. How would you react to knowing that there were demons, that were devils, that they could visit the earth, that they could adopt anyone's guise, that anytime anyone offered you something, it could be a devil trying to get your soul? How would that filter your perceptions? And so on and so on. The knowledge that there are horrible things lurking beneath the earth, plotting your doom. Well, that was the central conceit of many a Lovecraft tale, that if they survived, they still knew that their dangers were out there, that the terrors were there. And they were never the same since. They had to react. They had to act on that knowledge. They had to live with it. How do you live with the knowledge that there are underground dark elves plotting your doom? You won't act like a normal person anymore. You will prepare for the imminent Drow invasion. And likewise, in, well, that Cthulhu game, the manifestation is obvious. You go investigate something and you learn that there is magic out there. And this applies to Buffy with the magic. Then you start using magic to solve problems. You start looking at the world in a magical way. You know, you may not think there are many ways to change. You would act differently with magic missile at your disposal, but believe me, there are. You start acting a lot weirder. You don't act like a normal person. You know, you go on to a dangerous friend. Oh no, don't worry. I've got my spell components, or I know my mystic incantation. They'll take care of me. That's not normal behaviour. That's very insane behaviour. And knowledge of the horrors that lurk in the Lovecraftian world, that will make you act very oddly and differently, even if you do make all your sanity rolls. And so it goes. Vampire. You don't need to gain derangements. You're already deranged. You're already a vampire. You eat people to survive. You drink their blood. You start coming up with strategies so that you can continue to drink people's blood, to do it on a regular basis. And lo and behold, you are no longer acting like a normal human being. Because, well, you're not. You're a vampire. But you are acting very strangely. You start to do strange actions. You start acting very odd in order to maintain that masquerade that you've got to do. Doesn't matter if you're Camarilla or Sabat. They've all both got a masquerade going on. Just one acknowledges it, never doesn't. And then you've got to act in odd ways. One thing I noticed from LARPing was the realization that anyone of lower generation could dominate you if they made eye contact. So the way to protect yourself from being dominated was to never make eye contact with someone you knew was a superior vampire or you didn't know about. So people would always be looking down. People instinctively bow their heads before their superiors in a vampire society. Not because of being different to ritual, but because they're afraid that they might get mind controlled. Fear of mind control is not a normal human behaviour. It is an insane behaviour. It may be a rational behaviour in a universe with vampires who can mind control you if they make eye contact, but it is still a crazy thing to do. And so this is the crux of the argument. The behaviours, the things that the PCs will do in order to survive are almost by definition insane. They are insane. They are little tics, they are little behaviours. They are alterations in the way they behave because they know the world is different than what normal society believes. So they act in a way different than what society expects. They become insane, and there is no need for a dice roll. There is no need for a mechanic. They are mad already. Thank you.